yet again to serve the Farmington Public School community as a member of our school board, and we thank the community for returning our colleagues to the table so that we can continue our work together in the service of our students. So let's give them a round of applause. Glad to have you back. While we shared a draft of our board goals at our August board meeting, and while we have already been working toward these goals, this seems an appropriate time to share them with you again this evening in their finalized form, which we will do shortly. We would like to add that in our work on the district strategic planning committees, together with the Farmington Public School administrators, teachers, parents, students, and other community members, we continue our commitment to creating a school system that provides our students with opportunities to maximize their learning and growth. There is one additional matter to address this evening. As a board, we are committed to honesty and integrity in our work on behalf of Farmington Public Schools. It is our hope and expectation that each of us act with honesty and integrity in our roles as board members, as this is the example we seek to set for the students of our community. Further, we value both college and non-college career paths as evidenced by our efforts to expand both the number and variety of career and technical education opportunities available to our students. Finally, each of us has made important contributions to our community in our work as board members. Just as we use restorative practices in our schools, we are working together as a board to do the same. We are all of us human beings, and we choose to extend grace as we would wish grace to be extended to each of us when we stumble, as we all inevitably do in one way or another as we navigate life's many challenges. Again, we thank the community for your continued support of the seven of us and the work we have done and will continue to do together on behalf of our students. Here now are our board goals for the 2022-23 school year. Mr. Rich?
First is to develop and implement new board member onboarding. The board will establish an ad hoc committee to develop an onboarding process for new board members. This work will begin in September 2022, with a first draft scheduled to be completed by June 30th, 2023.
Thank you. Ms. Weems?
Second is to improve data literacy. The board will continue to grow our understanding of how data on student learning, growth, and achievement is collected, disaggregated, and used to inform district decision-making and the services we provide to our students. The board will devote time at each quarterly retreat to review and delve into a deeper understanding of this data. A list of data topics for the year will be discussed and set at our December board retreat.
Thank you, Ms. Weems. Mrs. Heinrich?
Board Goal 2, Explore Innovation. Monitor academic achievement. The board will ask the superintendent to provide quarterly reports to review metrics to ensure student learning needs are being met and to ensure that the district is actively working to provide equitable programming and support services across all buildings for both learning, remediation, and acceleration.
Thank you, Mrs. Heinrich. Mr. Walker?
Explore Michigan Merit Curriculum Options. The board, led by the Legislative Committee, will explore ways in which the MMC state graduation requirements allow for exceptions, substitutions, interpretations, and/or special permission to pilot programs that FPS seeks to implement that align with our profile of a lifelong learner district goals for student growth, learning, achievement, and career readiness. Informed by and coinciding with Year 2 of the FPS strategic planning process, this work will begin in September 2022 and continue through June 2023.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. Ms. Fox?
Yes. This is the board goal number 3, which is the profile of a lifelong learner policy alignment. The board, led by the policy committee, will review all board policies to ensure that all policies are in alignment with our new Farmington Public School profile of a lifelong learner. This work will begin in September 2022 with a target of completion by summer 2023 board retreat.
Thank you, Ms. Fox. And finally, oh no, we have two more, sorry. Also in Board Goal 3, executing on our vision and strategy, we are going to work to update the FPS vision and mission statements work that has already begun. Many of you might have been part of those groups, focus groups, who started that work a couple months ago. The board will work together with the superintendent and members of the community, members of his team, to update the FPS vision and mission statements to ensure that they are in alignment with our district's new profile of a lifelong learner. This work will begin in September of 2022 and continue through the end of the school year in June 2023. And we have included community voices in this process as well. Okay, and Mr. Walker.
Board Goal 4, Community Engagement. Host community dialogues. The board will create 4 opportunities for in-depth collaborative discussion together with all interested members of the community around topics that have been expressed by the community as areas of concern regarding our schools. These will occur during the 2022-2023 school year and will be led by neutral facilitators.
Yes, and our Community Engagement Committee is working to set those dates and topics right now. Well, not right now this minute, but you know. Okay, thank you everyone for helping to share our board goals. As I said, we first introduced a draft version of these back at our August meeting and have already been working toward them. This is just their final form. Okay, that is all for my announcements. Mr. Walker, any items from the secretary?
The board has received communications regarding the N-word, classroom students not receiving an appropriate education, and the cell phone policy. Communications are acknowledged, and when appropriate, a response is provided. A list of correspondence can be found in the board packet, which is available on the FPS website.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. All righty, now we are ready for our recognitions. Dr. Delgado.
Thank you, Dr. Blau, and good evening, everyone. So the moment you've been waiting for, we have 3 recognitions this evening, and then after these recognitions, we will take a 10-minute recess so we can come out personally congratulate you. And as much as I know everyone wants to stay for a very riveting board meeting, you could leave at that point if you want to. So first up, can I bring to the podium our wonderful new principal, Dr. Latricia Hurley from Farmington Central, as well as 2 students from her building, Jarell Harris and Lillian Andrews, if you can come up to the podium. So as they're making their way up, I'll share why we're recognizing these young people tonight. So Jarell and Lillian communicated about an issue that mattered to them in their class, and they wrote letters directly to President Biden. They didn't know whether or not they would get a response, but they did. And so we are so proud when our young people raise their voices, when they share with the powers that be what matters to them and what's impacting their lives. And so we wanted to bring them here not only to congratulate you on that incredible work and that really courageous work, but to also hear from you directly and from your principal about the topic that you chose, why you chose it, and what it felt like when you received a response and a letter back from the White House. So first of all, maybe Dr. Hurley, can you share with us, this was a civics lesson, this was a civics class, and were all the students writing, or how did this come to be? Oh, and their wonderful teacher?
Yes, all the students wrote, they wrote letters from the governor.
Maybe we can start with oops.
You can use this if you want to. Okay. Just flip it on.
So you can tell them what you wrote about.
I wrote about gun violence in schools and how it affects families and children. And I wanted to just let him know that it's a serious problem and it needs to be dealt with.
I wrote about my younger brother who is transgender, and unfortunately he deals with a lot of bullying in school to the point where it has gotten very bad. And I wrote about how it can affect kids or anybody, and I had also used statistics on how much more transgender people can be affected, hurt, sometimes even killed. But, yeah.
And I know our board members might have some questions, but can you just share with us, what did it feel like when you received a response from the White House, and what did they say?
I was surprised, really, because I didn't expect to receive a letter from the president, and I didn't really expect it because, like, he's really busy and stuff. But but I was really excited to receive one.
Just say, Mr. Jarell.
These were not generic letters that they wrote back. It was specific to their topics, which really meant a lot to them.
Yeah.
I felt like it was just, I was just so proud, right? When it happened, I'm hollering and screaming like, oh my God, right? I was like, no, we gotta tell everybody. You know, we gotta frame them, we gotta get it together. And, you know, I'm just very proud of just them using their voice. And that was one of the points that I took away from my interview was the importance of student voice and hearing student voice. So to be able to lift that, I am just honored. So this is the letters that they received, and they were very specific to responding to their actual personal responses. And like Ms. Cass said, they were not generic, and I was very impressed with their responses. So I'm proud of my two babies.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was reading your letter. Sorry. Yes, Ms. Weems.
So I also read, in addition to reading President Biden's letters back to both of you, I read your letters to the White House, and I was also equally impressed with your writing and how you conveyed what was really important to you. So congratulations on that. We are all very, very proud of you.
Thank you.
I just want to say that don't let this moment be lost on you, the power of your voice, because it is the voice of people your age who change things and make movements happen. And so don't believe ever for a moment that your singular voice does not have an impact, cannot move mountains, and cannot change the world. So congratulations again.
Mr. Rich?
So knowing the amount of correspondence that goes into the White House on a daily basis, the reasons for getting a letter back just shows how powerful your initial letters were, that they not only thought that, one, you should get a letter back, but also that it was fully read and understood and sent back. So that just goes to show the power of your initial letters. And I just urge you to continue with your advocacy, and thank you for, sending these letters in the first place.
Also, one of our community members pointed out that your letters will become part of the National Archives forever. Wow. Which is so, as my colleagues have expressed, your voices do matter. And thank you so much for putting forth the effort to stand up and speak out for what you feel is right and fair for yourselves and for others. Thank you so much.
Next up, I'd like to invite our Longacre Elementary School team here for a very special recognition. So as they approach with their principal, Miss Henry, I can share that the Longacre Elementary School, a Leader in Me Lighthouse school, has recently earned the additional title of Exemplary Academic Proficiency. To achieve this title means that Longacre placed in at least the 85th percentile in the state of Michigan. There are more than 600 Lighthouse schools around the world, but only 35 of those schools received the Exemplary Academic Proficiency Lighthouse School honor this year. And Longacre, our very own Longacre, is one of them. Lighthouse certifications come from implementing Leader in Me, which is a comprehensive model that builds leadership and life skills in students with fidelity. Schools use a Lighthouse rubric to measure outcomes in 3 areas: teaching leadership principles, creating a leadership culture, and aligning academic systems. A school will maintain the Lighthouse certification for 2 years, and during that time they will have to continue its growth and proficiency in exemplifying leadership culture within all of their students. So on behalf of our district and the Board of Education, we want to offer a sincere congratulations to this incredible honor to Longacre Elementary earning their Exemplary Academic Proficiency Honor Roll.
Thank you so much. On behalf of all of Longacre, we're really honored to accept this award. And I have members, as you can see, all of our students here. We have Landon, we have Olivia, we have Enzo, Benjamin, and Kevin Carr. I get these two confused, as you can see. We also have members of our PTA and our Parent Lighthouse team here with us tonight as well, Mrs. Truant, Mrs. Beacom, and Mrs. Carr. So thank you so much.
Well, before you sit down, I'm sure we would love to hear from the students about what is it like to be in a Lighthouse school, in a Leader in Me school.
It feels amazing because Miss Henry is the best. She's the best principal ever in the world. And I just really like her.
It's amazing because there's a lot of good teachers and good friends to make.
Kevin?
I like Longacre because it's a safe school and a nice school.
Maybe your parents, if they'd like to share anything?
They said it best.
Our Parent Lighthouse team does a great job of conveying the 7 habits, because we teach the 7 habits of highly effective people to students, the 7 habits of happy kids. And our Parent Lighthouse team and our PTA really help to spread that message and to educate our community at Longacre. And it definitely takes a collective effort, and we're really proud to be here. Thank you.
Don't go yet, because I think we might have some additional questions or comments. Yes, no? I do. Both of my sons, they're grown-ups now, but they were at Longacre when your school first started with the 7 Habits of Happy Kids. One is a Marine and one is a theoretical physicist, and they still use those skills. Sharpen the saw, seek first to be understood. So you are already learning things that will help you forever in your lives. So congratulations and keep up the great work.
Okay, and now it's my honor to invite up to the podium our Director of Athletics and School Safety, Mr. Tom Shelton, who will begin our Fall Athletics Awards.
Thank you. As you can see, I have a lot of paper here, so.
He's going to probably need some help handing those out.
No, it's all good. Thank you, everybody, and thank you, members of the Board of Education, for allowing us the opportunity tonight to honor some really special athletes who had a very tremendous season with us this fall. It's a great pleasure for me to be able to present and to acknowledge them. As you know, success in athletics as you know, success in academics while being involved in athletics or other extracurricular activities requires a high level of dedication and time management. These students that we're honoring tonight have excelled at both and deserve to be recognized. Many of our coaches and student athletes could not join us this evening. We still have quite a few that were able to, and we're pleased about that. If a student is not present, I'm still going to read their name and acknowledge them, thinking that they may be watching online somewhere remotely from somewhere else. So, like I said, bear with me because we do have lots of awards, and I'm going to try to be expedient but also thorough in getting those through. I should also mention that some of our season end awards have not been announced yet. For example, our varsity football, I believe our swim as well, has not announced their academic all-state awards. So we anticipate even more than what we're honoring tonight, and we'll make sure that we get those presentations to you when they're ready. So let's see. So logistically, students, what we're going to do is we're going to acknowledge students by groups. When I announce your sport, please come up and line up along here in front of the board and face the audience. We'll announce the team awards and the individual awards. Give your parents a chance to snap a picture if they'd like to, and then you can go back to your seat and we'll invite the next team to come up.
Mr. Shelton, I just
Yes.
wanted to add that we're going to take a 10-minute recess after we announce all of the award recipients so that we can take pictures with all of you. So even our Longacre folks, if you want to stick around for a few more minutes, we'd love to take pictures with you. Okay?
Thank you.
Sorry, Mr. Shelton.
Thank you, Dr. Ball. And I also wanted to recognize that a complete list of all the students we're honoring tonight was included in the board packet that's available online. So if you are following along at home or if you want to refer back to that at a later point, that was in the board packet. And I'd like to acknowledge, unfortunately, our building administrators couldn't be with us here tonight, but I do have one of our building athletic coordinators, that's Mr. Mike Cahill, who's here. Mr. Cahill. As you may know, Mr. Cahill is new to the athletic coordinator position at Farmington High School and just completed his first season as athletic coordinator and really did a fantastic job. So thank you, Mr. Cahill, and thank you for being here tonight. A couple of these I'm presenting, but most of them we have coaches with us tonight who are going to be able to acknowledge their teams. So to start with, I would like to invite our Farmington High School soccer team to come up and line up in front of the board. And Coach Tim Russell, if you could come up to present your awards, that would be great.
Yeah, sure. So, start out, first of all,
4 gentlemen up here, part of our Blue Division winning team this year, so we'll be moving up to the White Division next year, so very proud of them for that. We got our 3 captains up here from this previous season, Ian Stewart, Hunter Kapalungan, and Adam Sipikowski, and our goalie, Shaylin Odedra. Ian and Adam were both academic all-state winners, and also all-district and all-division, and Hunter was all-division as well. Tremendous group of guys, very hardworking, very dedicated, just really great people across the board. And we had our grade point average was excellent, so, and we had our captains leading the way on that. Really proud of the guys for being outstanding in both the classroom and on the field. So super proud of these guys. They're like family to me, so.
Coming up next, we have our Farmington High School boys tennis coach, Tom Kuskowski, also known as TK. TK, come on up, please.
Hi, Tom. Thank you. All right, boys, where are you? Come on up. All right, so while they're walking up here, let me just proudly announce that we also won the Blue Division championship, league championship this year. And that was captained by our team captain, Ben Nikkinen, right there, and the red-headed guy with the glasses on. Ben also captained the team to a great academic all-state team. We have some really smart, bright kids on our team. And with us also, we have Sam, the big baller, Yatin Bishala, and Pranav Tamanini. Yatin and Pranav both got 4.0 averages, so they're also academic all-state individually. So congratulations, boys, great job. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, TK. Next, we have North Farmington Tennis, and I believe Mr. Dupre was going to be here to present. Come on up.
Wow. Okay, cool, it's working. So first of all, just thank you to the board for putting this on tonight. Yeah, I just want to say I'm really proud of my North Farmington tennis team. We've achieved some amazing things this year. I fully believe that these guys have put North Farmington tennis back on the map. So I'm going to kind of go through, tell you who we have here. So we have Henry, we have Jack, we have Seth, we have Tommy, we have Avi, we have Sam, we have Vic, we have Ani, and we have Josh. Several of our members could not make it, but really happy with the representation that we have. So just a couple of their amazing achievements. So we actually won the regional tournament, which is something that North Farmington Tennis has not done in many, many years. So let's give them a round of applause for that. Also really worth mentioning is that we had a really good performance at states. We placed top 10, which was really a big accomplishment considering the level of the competition. These guys really fought their hearts out and reached a level that I was just really impressed with. But just beyond that, I'm just really happy with what amazing young men these guys are. They're not just really good at tennis, but they're extremely respectable, both to their coaches and to their opponents. And so the parents of these young men should be very proud. They've raised great boys. So I'm just really excited for those who are remaining, what we're going to do next year, which I believe that's everybody standing up here. But yeah, just really good season. Then the final thing to mention is we achieved an all-state academic with a team GPA of well over 3.5. So just a testament to what these guys can do on the court as well as in the classroom. So let's just give them another round of applause.
Thank you. Next up, we have Farmington High School Golf with Coach Mark Aziz. Come on up.
Okay, we have here Venetia Chap. This year, she had an amazing season. She ended up finishing in Division I, first team All-State. Some of her accomplishments at the state tournament this year. First of all, she helped our team qualify for the state tournament for the 4th year in a row, and she was obviously a huge part of that. At the state tournament, there's 108 golfers competing, and she finished tied for 10th. It's a 2-day tournament, 36 holes. It was impressive. In addition to that, at regionals, she was the medalist first place. She shot an even par 72. To give you an idea how good that was, the girl that finished in second, she beat her by 13 strokes. Yeah. In addition to that, this year at our second league tournament, she broke our school record with a 2-under par 68. She's pretty amazing. Her practice habits are second to none. She helps other kids on the team that, they're, trying to figure out things with their swing. She goes around and helps. She's everything a coach could ask for in terms of the way she approaches the game, practices, helps other teammates. Every coach will say the same thing, give me an athlete that's coachable, and that's better than anything else. Well, she's talented and coachable, so she deserves everything, all the credit she's getting.
Next up, we have Farmington High School Swim and Dive. Please come on up if we have any swimmers and divers out there. Oh, actually, this is Farmington first. North is coming up. Coach Cal Kenyon couldn't join us tonight. He was planning on it, but couldn't make it. Instead, he sent me a couple words to share on his behalf. Farmington High School girls swim competed in the state finals this past weekend and finished 10th overall in the state. The girls' medley relay of Annika Cho, Mackenzie Bushy, Emmy Dorico, and Sydney Visser was at All-State at the MHSAA State Championship this past weekend. This means they finished in the top 8 in the state. The medley relay actually finished 5th. Additionally, Mackenzie Bushy is All-State for the 2nd year in a row for both the 200-meter and the 100 breaststroke, where she set a new school record. Emmy is also All-State in the 100 butterfly for the 2nd year in a row. So congratulations. Mackenzie. So we have Mackenzie Bushy, Annika Cho, Emmy Derico, Sydney Visser, and Ava Martin was an All-State candidate. So, impressive group of girls. I'll give it to you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Congratulations, girls. On to page 2. Next up, we have Farmington High School volleyball. Is anybody here for Farmington High School volleyball? Okay. Well, I would still like to acknowledge from Farmington High School volleyball, Coach Katie could not be here tonight, but she actually gave me something to read. It'll take me just a minute to pull it up. Farmington High School volleyball was recognized as an all-state academic team, which is quite an achievement. We also had one student, Eshel Zafar, who is an all-state individual academic. All-state is awarded to seniors who have achieved a grade point average of 3.7 through their high school career. So we're very proud of Farmington High School, both team and individual all-state academic honors, and a fantastic season for them as well. So even though they're not here, let's give them a round of applause. Next, we have Farmington High School football, please. Come on up. Okay. I have some words from Coach Albrecht. The football team took a great step in our development as a team, starting with our student athletes' leadership to their classroom performance. We were able to beat a previously undefeated team to help secure a OAA Blue championship. Playing as a team and trusting each other were big reasons for our success. I am proud of how our players played, but more importantly, how they continued to grow into successful young men. We had 9 all-league players for the OAA, as we also had many others that could be represented as all-league players. These student athletes had great seasons in their specific position groups. Much of their success can be contributed to their work ethic and drive to be successful. We are lucky to have 3 all-region players as well, Gavin Miller, Cameron Petaway, and Dominic Pacey. They were voted as all-region by the coaches in our region, some that we played and others that saw their performance on film. It's a great honor to have other coaches think so highly of our players. So congratulations, guys. I'm going to read your names. And you're going to have to give me just a minute because my certificates got out of order somehow. Sorry. I think I'm good now. Yes. Some of these are here, some of them are not here tonight. Stephen Krager is not here tonight. We have Christian Jackson. Owen Madison. Aaron McCrae. Congratulations, Aaron. Gavin Miller. Dominic Pacey. Cameron Petaway. Akeni Uzosike. And Keyshawn Wilson. Okay. Next we have North Farmington Cross Country, and I believe that I saw Coach, come on up, John, as well as any individuals for cross country from North Farmington High School.
Hi, everybody. This is some of the representation of our cross-country program this year. We had 7 all-lead athletes, which is really fantastic. And I'll introduce them to you in a minute, but I want to tell you a little bit about just the kids. Just incredible students, incredible leaders, and I am probably I say this everywhere I go, I'm the most blessed man in Farmington because I get to coach these kids. It's really that simple. And they're just completely outstanding. With their leadership, since I've been here in the last 3 years, our program has gone from 2 girls to almost 20. And our boys program started with about 6, and we're almost 30 now. So we're really growing. And the kids had the highest finishes ever in probably the last 10 years at the regional and the county championships. And we've been second place in the league championships for the last 3 years. So we're really growing, and we're doing fantastic. Matt Ray, Zach Trove, Alexander Hamilton, Ronaldo Alyelia, and Megan Poole. So I am incredibly proud of these kids, and I'm just thrilled to be along for the ride. So thank you very much.
I have certificates here for Cora Liu, Megan Pohl. Congratulations, Megan. Elena Recinto, Ronaldo Ayala. Congratulations. Alex Hamilton. Matthew Ray. Zachary Trouvé. Congratulations. And Jameson White. Congratulations, guys. Congratulations. Next up, we have North Farmington High School football. If we have any North Farmington football players out there, come on up. Unfortunately, Coach could not be here tonight, but he did give me some words to share. The North Farmington football program finished 3rd place in the league and is fortunate to have 7 players earn all league honors. Congratulations to all of you. First off, we have Duke Blanche. Congratulations, Duke. Next, we have Mill Coleman. Congratulations, Mill. Kyle James. Congratulations, Kyle. Quinn Parpart. Congratulations, Quinn. Brendan Rice. Jaden Taylor. And Corey Woods. Congratulations. We're getting towards the end. We have next Farmington High School cross country, and we have, I believe, Coach Baracco and Coach Auer here tonight, so I will ask them to come up.
Thank you very much for being here tonight, and I want to say that being an athlete, if you look at athletic grades and you look at general student body, athletes do better than non-athletes academically over and over. And pushing for more people to be involved with extracurricular activities is something that we really need to push for as a group here. People at home watching this, get more people involved. It would be really great, especially during this pandemic. Well, I have the pleasure of coaching cross-country here at Farmington High School, and we have had some really great athletes over the years, and we continue to do good things. We have, here today, we have Isabel Torres, Madhu, Phelan, Molly Bracco, Iggy, Ryan Nelson, and Olivia Lincourt. Iggy was all league, all county, all region, and he's got a 4.0 GPA, which makes him all academic state. And then our ladies team, led by Molly, she was all league, all county, all region, region champ, and all state. The girls team was 13th in the state of Michigan, against some very good competition. We did some really good things. And our ladies team GPA, the team GPA is over 3.9, and we were academic all state. Thank you. Thanks, everybody, and let's get participating.
Thank you, Coach. Molly Baracco. Molly? Madhumitha Rajapragash. Sorry, I butchered that. I'm sorry. Catherine Steele. Isabel Torres. Congratulations, Isabel. Phelan Wong. Jeffrey Grinovisky, a.k.a. Iggy. Eddie King. Ryan Nelson. Gavin Steele. Olivia Lincourt. Okay, next we have North Farmington High School Swim. Please come on up. Coach Harfoot felt really bad that he couldn't be here tonight, so apologies for that. However, again, he did send me some words to share, and I do have some certificates for all of you. If you give me just a second. So, from Coach Harfoot, the North Farmington girls swim and dive had an amazing season. They finished undefeated in division and captured the OAA White Division Championship. 2 athletes were named All-League, senior Casey Sanders in the 100 breaststroke and freshman Claire Hoffner in the 200 IM. Casey was also named senior of the meet. At the MHSAA D2 state championship meet, the Raiders finished 12th place as a team and had 1 relay and 1 individual recognized as All-State. The relay was the 200 medley relay of Rachel Madiak, Casey Sanders, Maddie Dix, and Claire Hafner. Claire was also recognized as All-State in the 100 breaststroke. Congratulations, ladies, on an outstanding season. I do have certificates for the 4 All-State swimmers, and then I have a team certificate for everybody else. All-State, it's my pleasure to introduce Maddie Dix. Come on up. Congratulations. Claire Hafner, come on up. She's not here, thank you. Rachel Madiak. Congratulations, Rachel. And Casey Sanders. And for your team achievement, I have certificates for all of you as well if you want to go by this way and grab one on your way back to your seats, okay? What? Okay, and I think that was it. Anybody we forgot? I think that was it. Students and coaches, I should say, we made a lot of certificates for tonight, so if there's a typo on any of them or anything like that, we're happy to fix any errors that we make, so we'll make sure everybody gets the right recognition, okay? Thank you very much, and thank you again, Board of Education, for allowing us to recognize those students.
We're going to take a 10-minute recess, so if anybody would like some photos, we're here.
You got a typo? My name is
Well, it's better with the children. Mrs. Henry.
Somebody can hop back in there, yeah.
There we go. That is too sweet. Thank you very much. Yes, thank you. Want to come over here and take a picture? Would you take a picture with
Coach. Congrats.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. Hey, when if you have an opportunity, I'd like to talk.
You too. Good to see you.
Yes, sir. Yeah, my understanding is that they split some of the kids from the kids to the north, but like traditional, most traditional high schools, they hold about 2,000 kids. So we're about 1,400. So it should be
Who else has been at the podium? The Central people, Longacre, and all the coaches.
It's nice.
Yeah, I have no idea. Tim Russell wears reading glasses.
Or don't have, you take it all, so I'm not gonna.
Yeah. And if we just leave them there, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I can take them, only thing is since we're on break, is his classes for, but I mean,
Yeah.
I can email and tell him I'm not.
Okay.
Something.
Okay, sounds good.
I just started, so.
All right, here we go.
We would like to call this meeting back to order. So if we could all take our seats. we must be doing something right. That we have so many young people who are thriving both athletically and academically. So thank you, teachers, coaches, support staff, for all you do and continue to do that supports our students so that they can maximize their learning and potential. All righty. Have a legislative update. Two things. There is a school finance research collaborative conducts transportation study that the results of which were just released last week. It's a first of its kind transportation study that recommends funding the actual transportation costs of each district and calls on district school leaders to pool equipment, purchases, fuel, and other expenses. The new School Finance Research Collaborative Report, which builds off of an original 2018 study and a 2021 update, determined the most accurate and effective way to fund school transportation and help ensure schools are not forced to pull dollars from classrooms to cover those costs, is to create a separate funding category that meets the actual transportation costs that school districts face while incentivizing efficiency to keep those costs down. So that is some good news. And there also, there was a letter that was issued by Miguel Cardona, the U.S. Secretary of Education. And in this letter, Mr. Cardona described the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, the impact that it has had on college and career preparation opportunities for students transitioning to post-secondary education, and offered some suggestions on how local education agencies can continue to respond to these ongoing challenges and support students by utilizing the funds that were appropriated under the American Rescue Plan Act and the Coronavirus Response and Relief Supplemental Appropriations Act. So the recommendations that Mr. Cardona recommends in the letter are things that we are already doing and have well underway in our district. So I'd like to share just these 4 points. To expand access to dual enrollment opportunities so that every young person can earn college credit in high school and get a head start in earning a post-secondary credential. To provide strong career and college advisement and navigation support so that every young person can graduate high school with actionable post-secondary and career plans and the skills and resources needed to pursue them. Third, to expand opportunities for high-quality work-based learning so that every young person can apply classroom learning in real-world settings, develop employability skills, gain valuable work experience, and build a professional network. And finally, give all students the option to earn industry-sought credentials so that every young person can earn higher wages after high school and have the capacity to pursue further education and independent living. When we later talk about our legislative committee meeting, you'll hear more about some of the conversations we had this week that support these initiatives in our district. Okay.
Dr. Blau?
Yes.
I just had a few updates.
Yes, oh, go ahead. Yes, please, Mr. Rich, go ahead.
So a few things. So this is our first meeting since the election on November 8th. Seeing what's moving forward on the legislative side, we are seeing come January, the Democrats holding both the House and the Senate at the state level, as well as the governorship. And so that will kind of indicate some things. During a Michigan Association of School Boards meeting today, it was kind of discussed that this lame duck session will be pretty uneventful with not a lot happening, and they don't really expect the governor to go to negotiate any supplemental budgets, knowing that she would have the majority in both chambers come January. And so while we are going to see a shift in leadership on both sides, that means we will also have new people leading the education committees. And so while that is still being figured out, we might have some inklings as to who would be in leadership, but until that's announced, we don't want to jump in, but know that, we've been able to start making contacts with all the legislators at both the House and Senate levels that will be representing the Farmington district in the future, and they are all ready to start working come January representing our district and have open doors to talk to us as we have had in the past with our former representatives.
Thank you, Mr. Rich. Next, we have some district updates. Dr. Delgado?
Thank you, Dr. Blau, and good evening again. So just a happy early Thanksgiving to all of you. As you can see tonight, we have so much to be thankful for. We get to work with the young people that you saw every single day and see the wonderful parents, teachers, coaches, administrators that celebrate their success, because their success really is our success. And so I'm very thankful for all of them. I want to thank our community for passing the millage restoration. We really appreciate that support so we can levy the full 18 mills on our non-homestead. We really got out and tried to explain it to our community, and once again, you overwhelmingly supported it, and that means a lot to the schools, and we will be good stewards of that tax money. Also, thanks and congratulations to our incumbents who were reelected. I'm looking very much forward to continuing our progress together. We've worked tirelessly over a year together as a team of 8 to really move things forward and to celebrate the positivity that's going on, as well as seek feedback for improvement, and we'll continue to do that together. I'd also like to thank all of our candidates who ran for the Board of Education, who were interested in serving the district. They too had an opportunity to meet with our board, and we appreciate and respect their opinions, their perspectives, and their contributions to the district. And so I look forward to continuing to partner with all of you as candidates as well. One great way you could participate would be to join one of our 6 strategic planning subcommittees that Dr. Coffin oversees, as well as participate in our mission and vision work. And I know that some of the candidates already have, but I would encourage them to do that as well. And then just one final thing, and we'll get on to some other recognitions, is between the last 2 board meetings on Friday, November 11th, it was Veterans Day. So I'd like to thank any of the current veterans or family members who have veterans in the audience or watching at home for your service to our wonderful country. And we are striving to be a more perfect union, and although we're not perfect, there's a lot to be thankful for, and we appreciate the service of all of our veterans in our school community. So with that, I can move on to the next district update, which is our FAAPN update, and I welcome to the podium wonderful Mr. Thomas Hall.
Thank you, Dr. Delgado, members of the board, audience. Basically, FAAPN is going to do a quick update of what's happening in the district that we'll be doing. Start off with, first of all, our Super Saturdays. Our Super Saturdays are just like busting at the seams, and I'm saying that literally, that we're going to, we appreciate all the volunteers and the tutors that came out, the different groups that helped us out with this, our appreciation for the kids, to have the interest. Because a lot of people was to talk the talk, but we actually seeing people come in, get their hands dirty, and actually, say what they're going to do instead of always just saying what should be done. So I applaud that. With that note, we're not having Super Saturday this Saturday coming up because of the Thanksgiving holiday, and we're going to have it December 3rd and also December 10th of this year. Then next year, I forgot what day exactly we're going to start back up, because it's kind of a weird holiday, where the holiday falls at. And we're still looking for another location, which we already have a spot that is, I think is picked out, but I didn't get any kind of really confirmation on that. It's not that far from here. That would suit our needs. So just stay tuned for that in the peace jars and listservs to let you guys know where exactly the new facility we're going to be at, because they're going to be renovating the Maxfield Education Center. And, we don't want to push in like 50, 60 kids in one area with, well, we're going to have outhouses too, so, I think this is going to be a bad idea if we still stay here during the renovation. So, so just stay tuned for that. In November, early November, we had the college panel discussion in which that we had 4 people come out and experts in the field of college prep and what you need to know, questions to ask, to have for a discussion. That was attended very well with experts that give the kids give parents, mostly the parents who never experienced how to get their kids into college, a little, steep preview of what needs to be done. And that was very well attended again for that. With that in line, we're going to have, we had a lot of feedback, especially with the SAT, ACT. So we're going to be putting together events or some type of programs to help kids study for the SAT, ACT. And the most crucial thing that I've got out those testings was the SAT essay writing. A lot of the students, they don't know how to write an essay or what they're looking for writing an essay. So we're going to try to put together a workshop so we can just get the common sense things done for the kids in order so they can pass these crucial tests that, I don't want anybody to be confused and everything like that, because confused people don't do anything. So with that in mind, we want to attack the problem where it is to strengthen those abilities. One other thing I want to say is that we want to give a thanks to the Farmington Youth Association for giving us a grant, for our snacks, and which is a much needed nice has to have, especially in the morning. Kids, just gonna get a granola bar, some fresh fruit or something like that to keep the energy going. Some kids, I can see they grab a couple of handfuls of the potato chips and little sweets we have, which we got to, start kind of like monitoring that a little bit better. They come like pocketfuls. I was like, man, hold on. I said, do you supposed to have that? No. I said, okay, well, let's put some down, save some for next week. They said, okay. So we really appreciate that. And also, we can use also those funds to have different other programs that come out that for any kind of STEAM or STEM programs, or even just yoga or just relaxation, or these other type of programs that we actually have at Super Saturday. Again, we have a captive audience of 60, 70 kids that's here. So a lot of groups would like to come out and, just do a quick presentation or to get them involved in other things that's around district, because we are, that demand that type of that audience there. Also, our events that we're having coming up, we haven't put a date to it yet. It's going to be normally at the beginning of next year. We're just going to introduce the DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, and also any kind of special education that parents may have, or questions and statistics and how to make the most out of everything, and other type of like college fairs or something like that would actually bring more community together. And we're also going to be putting together a kind of like a network book, for FAAPN, in which that we have a lot of professionals and a lot of connections within our Farmington Hills districts, and that we need to know each other. So we're going to try to put together just like a handbook, who knows who, so we won't have to be trying to search through things that people want to do business within our community. So with that, I don't think I'm forgetting anything else. But we're here for anything that the students need, any kind of questions that the students may have, or the administration may have that they want to run by Farmington African American Parent Network first. We are always here for you to get our opinion and how you affect the community. So, and this is open to anybody to join us for the betterment of our students. So, with that in mind, thank you for your time. And any questions or anything? No?
Yes, Ms. Weed?
So I've had the opportunity to attend a couple of Super Saturdays in the past couple of months, and I used to attend almost every Saturday for years. I just have watched this program grow, And to have, 50, 60, 70 kids is outstanding, and I really feel like should be applauded. I think you guys are doing a phenomenal job. I am so proud of the fact that you and others show up every Saturday and devote your time for free for our kids. That's actually just amazing. I hear from so many parents who are so appreciative of the free tutoring. I just can't say it enough how pleased I am at how this program has grown, and also how the number of volunteers has also grown. I remember that was a challenge. In fact, a few years ago, I created a scholarship in order to, help draw in more volunteers, and that scholarship still exists. So if you want to continue to promote that, any student who is volunteering consistently on for Super Saturdays, even not consistently, but more than once, more than twice, there are special points that are given to those students when it comes scholarship time. It's awarded every March, or I think you have to apply by March, and we give out the scholarship in May or something like that. But every year for the past 5 years, we'll continue that scholarship. It's for anyone, but there are special points awarded to someone who has been participating in FAAPN as a tutoree or a tutor.
Yes.
And then we also talked at one point, this was before the pandemic and it kind of fell off, but I'm also, if you're interested or need it, if there are any special awards or recognition for volunteers. Because again, you guys are doing this for free and spending, hours of every Saturday for the entire school year. I just appreciate you and applaud you, and if there's something that we can do to recognize people, I would love to do that.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your support and for your recognition. A lot of, we don't do it for the recognition, of course, because we get in there because we have a philosophy is like, the only person going to save us is ourselves. Okay, so if we're looking at for government to say this and all these other people to come in to help us out with our kids, we need to step up and do things that when we start doing it, other people will come in and help. And so that's the whole initial philosophy of why we're doing this, and keep it consistently, so people can have an outlet to come to for help. So that's what we do, and we really appreciate the community coming together, because without them, we wouldn't be here to exist. So really appreciate that. Yeah.
Mrs. Heinrich, and then Ms. Fox.
Yeah, I don't want to say everything that Mrs. Weems said so well, but just, you can't hear how much you're appreciated too many times, and you really, I love helping kids learn, and it's just a wonderful opportunity to see kids that are there because they want to be there. There aren't any parents dragging their kids in, resisting. All of the kids are coming, and they're receptive. They're polite, and Mr. Hull does just a phenomenal job, and he's got a team of people, and it's just so rewarding. So just to encourage the community members, and there's community members that come and volunteer, and there's parents that don't have kids in the district, but they do this and they come and help out because they like helping kids learn. And it's so rewarding to see the different layers of kids. The kids, if they're done with their homework, then I was helping a little girl, I'm done, what should I do? And I said, well, go see if you can help somebody younger than you. And so it's kids helping kids, and it's really a wonderful program. So thank you for all that you're doing for our district. You just can't hear enough how much you're appreciated.
Thank you, Mrs. Heinrich.
Yeah, I just want to say you all are doing a wonderful job. This past Saturday, we actually had more tutors than we had children. So I kind of sat over in the corner. But I enjoy immensely the work that you all are doing. And it's not just this room. I mean, they have really thought through, like there is a reading room, and then there is a math room. And those are for maybe the older students, and then the younger students are here, the elementary kids and what have you. So they have really been very thoughtful in how to work with various grades at, over a 2-hour period. So I'm there quite a bit, and I do all that I can to do for our kids and our parents and what have you, and I thank you for the work that you're doing.
Absolutely. It's also nice to see so many of our own FPS students coming on Saturday morning at 9 o'clock to help out their fellow students. So I know the Hackbots have made a commitment this year to start showing up to help, and I know we have other student groups who do that as well. So it's really a lovely thing.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And next up, it's my pleasure to introduce Ms. Chris Gregg, our interim executive director from our Farmington Hills Education Foundation for an update.
Thank you, Dr. Delgado, and good evening, everyone, and happy Thanksgiving. Congratulations on the millage renewal, re-election of our incumbents. Really excited to see this team stay together and continue your great work. I'm really happy to report on Toast to Education. It was our most successful yet, and it was a true celebration of the community and a lot of different community groups coming together. So we start off where we had it at the Meridian, which is owned by a FPS parent, which was pretty nice, and it's kind of an unknown venue to a lot of parents. So to actually use this as a showcase and give folks an idea where they could hold some other events too, I think was really helpful. I heard a lot of comments regarding that. Dave Drake putting together a fabulous band of educators in the music field, and so having live music there provided by our own educators was fantastic. All the PTAs and PTSAs, PTA Council, that chipped in baskets that someone won a lot of. And all the people that stepped up, the volunteers to help us with the raffle, with the wine pouring, with the check-in, all of that. And then, of course, our just absolutely fantastic business partners, too. We had, of course, we had McCarthy and Smith and DTE, Bush's running most of the event. OCC Culinary Team had a fantastic food station for us. We had Paulson's there as well, donating a TV. LOC, Plant Moran, The Optimist, the FEA, United Wholesale Mortgage, and Dallas Industries all stepped up and helped with the sponsorship of this event. So it was a fabulous evening. It was very fun emceeing with you, Dr. Delgado. Really had a good time doing that. But the reason we have the Toast to Education is to raise funds for grants. And these are innovative grants. And just, the Education Foundation is just concluding our 10th year of existence, about $400,000 of investment of private dollars into programs that benefit our students. And so just as a reminder, the 4 areas where we do grants for is scholastic achievement, extracurricular activities, the arts, and technology integration. So we will be opening up the applications probably shortly after the holiday break when we come back in the new year. So think about that. It's open to educators, to student groups, to other community groups or school-based groups. And it's any organization or individual that has an idea, a seed, something they want to try, and they want to try it with private dollars as a kind of a test run, and to see then if that can be moved further into the district, if it's kind of a proof of concept without using taxpayer dollars. So I really like that approach. So be sure you look at it. So it could be, opening up, I'm a little biased here. I've always been a big math pentathlon fan, but maybe it's adding a math pentathlon program to something that's existing. Maybe it's teaching kids pickleball. I'm a pickleball fan too, that's extracurricular. Anything to help with learning loss and new creative ideas. So put your thinking caps on, and please look for those grants to be open in early 2023. So that's going to be our main focus moving into the new year. But the other thing that we do that a lot of people may not be aware of is we administer over 20 local scholarships. And we're so excited that we're adding 2 new scholarships this year, sponsored by the Warnerettes in Farmington. And so it's all based on, and Mrs. Blau knows about that, it's based on volunteerism. So last year, we added a scholarship from AAUW, and so we keep growing our local scholarship base, which of course just helps our students go on to the next step in their education journey. So very excited about that. And we're also continuing our support of the Hackbots. We administer a lot of their funds and help them get through the administrative piece so that they can focus on that robot and winning competitions. And then finally, I just want to put a call out to the community. If anyone is interested in serving on our board, we're always interested in talking to new people that have a passion to help the students in our district. And you can give me a call, or you can, probably easiest thing is just to email me at director@ffhedfoundation.org. We'd love to grow the board even more. We've got a lot of great plans with our Friends and Alumni Network, but we need more help. And we are an all-volunteer organization, and we're just so thrilled that we're here and able to support the district and have fun as we do it. So with that, if there are any questions, I'd be happy to take them.
Yeah, before I get to my question, obviously I really support the Farmington Education Foundation, and I love your signature event, the Toast. It's one of my favorite events of the year because of what you're doing with the proceeds. I didn't know that it was over $400,000 that have been reinvested into Farmington Public Schools. That's amazing, so thank you for all of that. My question is, so you said the application process starts maybe in January. Do you know when it ends? What might be the deadline?
We'll probably do a pretty tight time period so that we can get the dollars out and working in the schools or with the programs. So I would anticipate probably a 3-week window on that when we kick it off to try to move it along as quickly as possible.
Okay, and then it's open to any community member who's interested in doing
Anyone
something?
who's got an idea that's going to benefit our students, absolutely.
And must you be over the age of 18, or can you be a student?
I don't believe we have any restrictions on that. I don't remember a time where we've actually had an individual student apply, but we've had student groups apply.
Okay.
So if you can go that route, because one of the things we do ask is who are you partnering with? And also, are you, within the district and outside of the district too? And so that gives you kind of that extra boost when you're coming as part of a group and have some good support.
Well, I love the Farmington Hills Education Foundation. You have my full support.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
The one thing that I just wanted to mention and thank Chris for her leadership is thanks to our employees, to the generosity of our employees, we reinstituted kind of what we call a buck a pay, a direct payroll deduction program that any of our employees can sign up for. I don't have the numbers off the top of my head. I don't know if Ms. Gregg does, but we have several employees who have donated every single check to go directly to the foundation.
Thank you for bringing that up, Dr. Delgado. I appreciate it. So Buck a Pay is kind of re-energized with this school district under Dr. Delgado's leadership and partnership with us as well. And right now we have quite a bit of participation that if you carry through, we will raise an additional $9,000 for the Education Foundation. If everyone in the district really was able to donate $1 a pay, we could increase that to over $20,000. So really encourage that participation and really appreciative of those that have jumped right in and have always been in this program too. It's got a lot of great opportunity, as does our Friends and Alumni Network that we're hoping to relaunch sometime in 2023 as well. A lot of work involved in that. Yeah, the partnership has been absolutely fantastic. Thank you for that.
Can I just, again, acknowledge volunteers? I can't say enough about everyone across the district that volunteers, but specifically for the Farmington Education Foundation. Thank you, because I know it's a lot of work to put some of these things on, but this past October, November, whenever it was amazing.
Thank you.
It was really, really well done and needed. I think, it's been a couple of years since we've been able to fellowship with staff and community members, and it was really nice.
We were very nervous about how it was all going to go down, because we were still, still coming and fighting COVID a bit and stuff like that, but the venue was, was large and we could spread out. We did have it the Friday before Halloween, and normally we have it the week after Halloween and after most of the playoff games and all of that stuff, so we had a scheduling conflict with the venue, but next year we are hoping to do it the first Friday in November.
Wonderful. Congratulations on such a successful event. It was just a delightful evening.
Great. Thank you all that were able to make it too. Appreciate it.
Yes. Thank you for all of your hard work. We really appreciate you.
Okay, and next up, it's my pleasure to invite back to the podium Mr. Tom Shelton, who is our Director of Athletics as well as School Safety. We're going to go away for Thanksgiving here for a couple of days, and when we return, sadly, on Wednesday is the November 30th, is the one-year anniversary of the Oxford tragedy. And so I had asked Mr. Shelton that he give us an update as he's overseeing school safety to talk to our community, to talk to our board about all the things that we're doing proactively in the district with respect to training as well as physical infrastructure in our buildings and making sure that we have a safe and nurturing environment. So Mr. Shelton has a safety update for us.
Correct. Thank you, Dr. Delgado. And as Dr. Delgado said, as we kind of frame this conversation, I really wanted to focus tonight on three different areas. One is the training and the preparedness efforts that we've made since I took over this job in July with our staff, with our students. The second area is in critical infrastructure, making sure that our buildings are physically prepared to be as safe as we can possibly make them. And I also want to touch briefly on some up-and-coming initiatives, things that are in the works that we are planning to, again, enhance our safety as we move throughout this school year. I did have a PowerPoint, but I'm not sure how to pull it up, and I don't necessarily need it if it's a big deal to get it pulled up. Thank you, Kathy. Appreciate your help. Thank you. Okay, so the first area, again, to focus on is looking at our preparedness and the training initiatives that we've undertaken over the last several months. The first and probably the biggest undertaking out of this entire list was the ALICE training that we did district-wide with our entire staff in late August. That was a huge undertaking at North Farmington High School, and when we said all staff, we meant all staff. We had our central office staff, we had our paraprofessionals, we had our secretaries, as well as obviously our teachers and our instructional staff. So well over 1,200 staff that we trained simultaneously at North Farmington High School that last week of August. And we have two of our school resource officers in the back, Detective Kaepernick and Detective Clark, and they were part of the task force that came together and really helped us put that training together. We did that together with the Farmington Public Safety, the City of Farmington Hills Police Department, and the Oakland County Sheriff's Department. And those three groups, along with me and some other key district personnel, put that day on, and the feedback from it was really positive. And again, we can positively say that all of our staff has been trained, which is a great thing. We are also, together with the school resource officers, we're doing building security audits in all the buildings this fall. So between myself and the three SROs, we're going into each building at least 3 times through the course of the year and auditing the security in those buildings. We have a core list of, I think, 20, did I write it on the side? I think there's like 26 criteria that we look at as we walk through the buildings. Things like, are classroom doors locked? Are the outside doors locked? Can you see into the classroom from the hallway? Are the emergency manuals visible and posted in the classrooms? So we have a list of those 26 factors that we look at when we go in the buildings. After we're done, I send them right up to the principal and I let them know, here are things we saw that looked really good. Here's some ways that we can improve safety in your buildings. So I've been really happy that we've reinstituted those and that we've been doing those. I wanted to mention OK to Say. Okay to Say has been a big part of how we are teaching our students, if you see something, say something. And we have had great use of Okay to Say in the district in terms of students doing the right thing, standing up, reporting when they have a concern. And Okay to Say is a great system for us to receive and process those anonymous reports. And we just need to keep reminding our students, our staff, and our parents of the presence of that system and the fact that we can use it and we should use it to report safety concerns. I know some of our buildings are actually doing Okay to Say assemblies. I was at Warner Middle School several weeks ago, and they were doing an assembly with all their students on Okay to Say and when to speak up and things like that. So we're getting even more widespread awareness of Okay to Say across the district. We're reinstituting our district crisis team. District crisis team, I won't say reinstituting, we're reforming it so that our district crisis team has gone through the appropriate training, is ready to react in different situations. In a situation where we were to have a serious safety event in the district, if we had a student suicide or anything that requires a district level response, our crisis team has gone through training at Oakland schools. We'll go through additional training and we'll be reforming so that we're ready for those incidents when and if they do occur. The last one that I wanted to mention, and when I was talking about training, is the My Heart Safe program. And this is just recently started. I've been working with our school nurses, Mary Larson and Leslie, looking at the My Heart Safe program. Basically, it's a certification of cardiac awareness in our buildings. So we're looking to get all of our districts in the district certified as cardiac safe. Through the presence of AEDs, training for staff, doing cardiac drills. And so we're just starting that right now with our high schools, and we hope to have both of our high schools certified as heart safe by the end of the year before we expand into our other buildings. So when we look at infrastructure, I talked about the security audits on the previous slide. Also, thanks to our wonderful facilities department, thank you, John Barth, we have window film coming in where all of our classrooms and offices are going to be made safer because we're going to have, for those classrooms or offices that have windows from the hallway into the classroom or the office, those are going to be covered with one-way film now so that you can't see into those spaces from the hallway. That order was just placed, and I believe we're looking at having that installed over the holiday break so that when everybody comes back in January, that will be in place as a new safety infrastructure measure. Facilities also helped us order sections of fire hose. If you look at, there's a way to use a fire hose to create an artificial barrier to keep a door from being opened. And we were able to deploy those across the district in every classroom as an added security measure. Nothing beats a locked door, right? In an emergency, your locked door is your most important defense, but that fire hose is one added level of defense and way to barricade a classroom. So. And we've also been looking at keys and building access. Our key access to our outside doors is in the process of being eliminated. So the only way to access our school buildings is through these fobs. There's so many keys out there, and we really want to make sure that we have control over who's going in and out of our buildings. And obviously that's a safety issue. So that's in process too, removing those outside keys. Some things that we have going on, we have applied for a grant through the Michigan Department of Education where if we do receive it, it's going to provide us a significant amount of money to invest in school safety, specifically infrastructure and training for staff. So, we're looking at some big projects. We are in the final stages of putting together Go buckets for a classroom. A Go bucket is basically a 5-gallon paint can that within it will have different safety items. For starters, we're going to have a basic first aid kit and what's called a Stop the Bleed kit. So that every classroom and every office in the district will have those two items in there so that they're prepared in the event of an emergency. Those Stop the Bleed kits, the biggest part of them is a tourniquet. And so we have to do training with staff as we deploy those so that staff doesn't just have them sitting in their room, but also actually know what to do with them. So that will be coming up. And we're also, we have applied and have reason to believe we will receive a grant for a comprehensive professional audit of our buildings and the security in our buildings that will ultimately give us some recommendations on what we're doing well, what we could do to improve. So that should be happening in the next several months once we hear back on that grant. And then obviously one thing that we will have to figure out is now that we have our entire staff Alice trained, how do we keep that training up when we hire new staff, when we bring new staff on, where are our fail-safes to make sure that we're getting that staff trained. So those are the items that I had to share with you tonight, but I can certainly answer any questions that you have. Yes, Ms. Fox.
Just wondering, are you all thinking at all about bulletproof doors or bulletproof glass items and what have you? Are you thinking about those kinds of things?
To this point, we have not had any discussion about that, at least that I've been involved in. I did mention that professional audit that's going to come through and make recommendations to us, and that could be something that comes out of that audit, I would imagine. But I've not been a part of any discussions about bulletproof doors or glass, no.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So thank you for everything that you're doing related to safety preparedness and training initiatives. I'm pleased, but I'm also, disappointed that we have to do that, but we are where we are. Which gets me to my point around our young people and the level of threats that we continue to get. I know that you guys address every single one of them and have determined that I think all of them have been not credible.
Correct.
Which is a huge drain on our police department and our, district resources. But my point is, when we go through these things, it's a huge impact on our staff and on our students, and we're hearing about it.
Yes.
And I wonder what our protocols are around communication. I know that there's a balance between having to communicate timely and also communicate accurately, and also, not communicate everything because there's still, investigations and stuff going on. But, I don't know that there's an answer for that right now because I know that this is evolving. But I would like for us all to give some thought around, what the proper communications protocols are. I know that we have a cell phone policy, and I'm glad that our chair of the policy committee, thank you, Mabel Fox, for adding this to the next agenda. We get communications from parents about, they're scared about not being able to reach their kids, especially if we're not, we communicate that there's a school on lockdown, but we can't communicate everything right away. And it could be an hour or two or more before we can provide some more information. So I don't know if there's any current thinking on that, or if that's something that we still need to just work through.
I think it's something that we need to work through. It was part of the prepare training that I mentioned that the rest of the new district crisis team and I went to. I'm looking at those communication protocols. And I definitely think it's an area that we have to keep talking about.
I don't know that anybody has this right.
No.
Just
Correct.
mentioning it because, this is new and evolving, and I wish that we didn't have so many threats. That's a whole nother discussion for, how we can try to coach and teach our young people. That's not smart, but yeah, we got some more work to do.
Yeah.
Thank you, though. We appreciate this.
Thank you.
If I could just briefly chime in, one of the things that actually is working has to do with the okay to say anonymous tip line. And so while it may seem like there's been perhaps an increase in some of the threats or the online activity, almost all of the ones that we've experienced this year have come from okay to say. So it's kind of a catch-22, is that certainly you want to proactively have grade level assemblies and talk to students about the dangers of posting things online and educate them. But we also simultaneously are letting kids know, if you see something, say something, and they're doing that. So the kids are saying that their parents are letting us know. And yes, fortunately, they've all been non-credible threats, but it does dominate hours and hours of time away from instructional leadership and from our school resource officers. And so, but we will respond to each one. We're appreciative, though, that our students are doing the right thing and letting us know.
And I think thank you, Dr. Delgado, I agree with you. And I think that our building principals are doing a great job of getting in front of their students and having those conversations with students. I know at Farmington High School, the administrative team at Farmington did some focus groups with students on Monday of this week and just talked to them and listened to what they had to say about, culture and threats and how people are feeling. I saw School Resource Officer Joe Mertes at East Middle School talking to the entire student body about the idea of threats and online safety and things like that. I talked about the okay to say it Warner. It's happening, I think, in the buildings. The principals are doing a good job engaging students with that discussion, and it's just going to take us some time.
I mean, I'm in school buildings, so I know that they're having those conversations, and that's all great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. I would just be interested if there's some way to get the information on those focus groups. What are the kids saying? How are they feeling about these kinds of things? How are they feeling about the interventions that are taking place? But I also have a question around any thought for the staff. I mean, anytime something like this happens, one could argue that's a traumatic moment, whether credible or not, preferably, obviously. But over the course of a year, the toll that it takes on the staff and their well-being. Mm-hmm. So, not looking for an answer, just wanted to bring up for the purposes of consideration and thinking that we want to make sure that we're taking care of our staff as well as our students, bringing that whole social emotional piece back on the table. Because as William says, this is just, these are the times, and they're terrible times in this respect.
If I might, I think I recall it may have been during our budget conversation, that there was a specific effort associated with providing more, was it counselors for our teachers or our staff members? Which was new, for adults, yes. There's something specifically for adults district-wide in response to mental health overall, not specific just to the safety matters, but yeah, so I think the district is moving in the right direction there. Obviously, I don't think we have enough, to go around, but I think we are trying to move in that direction.
Then I would just say, making sure that everybody is aware
Yeah.
that service is available for any circumstances or any need for that kind of
That's a good point.
care, regardless. That would be my offer.
And one of the aspects, I'm sorry.
I'm saying God bless you.
Oh, yes. One of the aspects of the crisis team is anytime we have a potential threat at a school, we mobilize that crisis team. And part of that mobilization includes Dr. McDougall, who oversees our school social workers, preparing to dispatch them, additional social workers, counselors, school psychologists, to that building to support both children as well as the staff there. And so that's a common practice, a routine of our preparatory steps when we mobilize.
Excellent. Okay.
I'd also mention our employee assistance program that we have in the district that has, it's free counseling services for all of our employees in the district.
Wonderful.
I'd like to add that at a recent, I believe it was the Student Leadership Strategic Planning Committee meeting, there were 2 students who joined us at that meeting and spoke about the need for more opportunities for students to engage in dialogue with other students around some of these traumatic experiences that they're having, just even in terms of things happening other places or when we have a lockdown and whatever other kinds of social and emotional circumstances students are going through. And so as we are looking forward to what kind of daily structure we want to establish for our students in keeping with the profile of the lifelong learner, we might want to keep in mind trying to create time and space within the school day or within the school week for some of those conversations and support services to be available to both students and teachers. And we've been discussing it at our legislative committee meeting, and we've discussed it at the strategic planning committee meeting. So we are paying attention to what our students are telling us and our teachers are telling us that they need in terms of their social and emotional needs.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That's part of safety too. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We appreciate you, Mr. Shaw. Thank you.
And those are the end of our district updates.
Okay. Okay, reports from board committees. So we had a legislative committee meeting recently that was really fascinating. Dr. Jarell Kennedy, right?
Yes.
Dr. Jarell Kennedy is the Michigan Department of Education legislative liaison, and she came and spoke with us. Mr. Walker and Mr. Rich, what stood out most for you from that conversation?
For me, the possibility of students being able to accelerate their credit collection, for lack of a better term, to complete graduation credits early, leaving way more space for internships, drilling down on any areas of specialization that they might be interested in, turning the senior year at minimum into a truly capstone kind of year, an entire year to build a portfolio of projects and accomplishments based on the things that they've learned in the previous year. So, and stacking those credits in those earlier classes. Just the possibility, obviously it's very, very early, but just the possibilities to dream in that direction. As a CTE guy, oh, that's a slice of heaven.
Yeah, absolutely. Mr. Rich?
I mean, I think it was mainly the ability to kind of shape what you want as it falls in the guidelines and how flexible those guidelines actually are compared to what we thought they were initially.
Yes, we really thought that our legislative committee was going to have to do a lot of work in terms of building relationships with our state legislators in order to move the needle on the Michigan Merit Curriculum and create space for some of the things, the innovative things that we want to do for our K-12 students. It turns out we already have a lot of flexibility and latitude that is built in. So it's sort of like, at the end of The Wizard of Oz when Dorothy realizes she had the power to go home all along, she just didn't know it. It's like, oh my goodness. So Dr. Kennedy was able to explain the many ways in which we already have the flexibility to determine what our graduation requirements are within the scope of what's required with the Michigan Merit Curriculum. And as we have a clearer idea of what we hope to do, she will put us in touch with the people we need to interact with to make sure that what we envision for our students is in keeping with what the state requires. Really phenomenal.
It was.
Okay, thank you both. We have a Finance and Facilities Committee report from Mrs. Heinrich.
Yes, the Finance and Facilities Committee met on November 18th, myself along with Ms. Fox and Mrs. Weems. And these are the things that there are a lot of other people there too that you're going to hear from tonight. But these are the things we talked about. Bid pack number 9 is the work that's going to be done at Beachville Elementary and Kenbrook Elementary School. And there will be discussion on this, and we have representatives from Plant Moran Cresa along with McCarthy and Smith is going to talk us through that. Spoiler alert, the total bid was under the projected budget, which is good because that frees up more money for future projects. And then Mrs. Hendrickson presented really the nuts and bolts and how the funding goes through and just the cycles for textbook adoptions, and kind of gave us some information on that. And she has a presentation on some textbook adoptions that we will hear from in discussion. And then it will be action item the following meeting. And then, or is it discussion and action tonight? Just discussion, okay, all right. And then nutrition services, good news, Pizza Day is coming back. And that is a discussion item tonight, and it will be a action item on December 13th. And so there's going to be a lot of information on how the bids were taken and the obstacles that had to be overcome. So we'll give you that to look forward to. And let's see, we are going to have a presentation on the approval for the revised tax levy, and that was a result of the formality after the November 8th election. So thank you to our community for passing that. And on future agenda items, we want to look at information on how the district allocates money for mental health support and the counselor to student ratio.
Thank you, Mrs. Hyman. All righty, we are ready to move on to discussion items. We have the nutrition services.
Yep, first up is the pizza bit, Miss Angie Davis.
Are there samples?
I don't believe she brought samples.
We are not sampling tonight, but it is past dinner time, so maybe I should have, and had it in that 10-minute break earlier.
Right.
But bids were received on November 3rd at 1 p.m. for our commercial pizza bid. Myself and Carla Swanson were present. 3 companies did bid for us, which were Cottage and Pizza, Domino's Pizza, and Little Caesars Pizza. They all submitted bids ranging from $6.75 to $8.25 per pizza. Cottage Inn and Little Caesars were the only 2 who were offering a whole grain crust, which is part of the requirements for the USDA guidelines. This bid was designed to comply with the federal nutrition guidelines, as well as providing a satisfying product for our nutrition services program. Price and nutritional facts were taken into consideration when determining our recommended vendors. It is recommended to award the 22-23 for the remainder of the school year, the commercial pizza bid to Little Caesars Pizza for an estimated annual total amount of $160,000, and a secondary vendor of Cottage Inn Pizza for an annual total of $75,000. All the funds will come from nutrition services. This is a total of an annual amount, so we are halfway through the point to the end of the school year. The bid will expire in June, but we will have the option to extend the bid for 2 additional 1-year contracts if everything goes well with the vendors and the students. Yes.
Questions, Mrs. Heinrich?
Yeah, you just explained at the meeting why we're going with 2 pizza vendors as opposed to 1.
Yes.
Maybe you could share that information.
Yes. Approximately 10 years ago, when I came into Farmington Schools, we did have 2 vendors because we do have a very large amount, which over an annual is 32,000 pizzas that we purchase. After a couple years, we did go down to 1 vendor, which was Little Caesars, who has offered great service, a great product for our district. But COVID has been hard on all of us, and Little Caesars currently let go of one of their stores during COVID here in Farmington, and he is concerned with staff and offering Farmington the service that we do deserve. So with working with Little Caesars, they were the lowest bid, but they also do not want to take on too much with the district than they can handle. So he completely understood. We worked with him and spoke with him how many schools he could handle in one day, and then that's where we brought in the second vendor.
Yes.
So we talked about this a little bit at the Finance Committee meeting. I found it actually refreshing that the vendors came to us and said, look, they were honest and, want to make sure that they're going to be able to meet the need or our demand. And so I think lots of restaurants and retailers are struggling with workers. So I appreciated that. I brought up that we've historically had a taste test from our students. Historically, the kids would do a taste test, and for the past several years that I've been on the board, it was always Little Caesars that won. So I was a little bit concerned about, picking another vendor, but I appreciate that they're saying to us that they may not be able to, serve us. So I don't think that kids are going to mind the other vendor, especially since they haven't had pizza all year. They're probably like wanting it, so I support what's being recommended.
I did check with another area school district who also works strictly with cottage and pizza, and they are very, very happy. So I think the kids are very happy. It's a very good product, both of them. So I think the kids will be very happy with both vendors. You know, and if not, June comes, we can go out for bid again over the summer, and maybe by that time, you know, Little Caesars is also looking for other opportunities. They're talking about purchasing another store again in the area. And so then they, you know, hopefully, I mean, staffing is getting a little bit better for everyone, even for the nutrition department, and that's why we're ready to take on the pizza sales. It's a very, very big day for us. So we had to wait until we could staff the kitchens, and so it's the same thing with our vendors.
Yeah, and I just want to point out in the information you gave us, you said that there were only 3 companies that bid, but I counted that there were 7 companies that you did extend invitations to.
Yes,
So just to make that information clear, that although that we only had 3 to choose from, you opened it up to more than.
Yes, yes, I did. We always make a point to actually email all the companies in the area to let them know that we are going out for bid. I did say a third vendor did bid, which was Domino's. Domino's has a special product out there called Smart Slice. This chain, the store was not willing to offer that product. He was willing to offer all the nutritional guidelines of the USDA, but he did not want to bring in the whole crust. He found it doesn't sell that well, their product, which has never gone over well in our taste test either. So I can understand why, and he didn't want his store being associated with the whole grain. But unfortunately, with the USDA guidelines, I have to offer 80% of our products whole grain. And with our pizza sale being very, very large, it would take away from some of those other items, like the pasta, that the whole grain doesn't go well, where I can substitute the white in there. So that's why we went with the 2 vendors who are willing to offer the whole grain, and they both have products that the kids do find acceptable.
Any other questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next. Bid Pack 9, Beachview Elementary School and Pembroke Elementary School. Renovations bid award recommendation.
And Mr. John Barth, our Director of Facilities and Operations, and his team are coming on up.
Good evening, board members, Superintendent Delgado. Is it just me? I'm kind of hungry now after that last discussion. But thank you for listening. This is bid pack number 9, as you read in your packet. And Claudia did a great job, spoiler alert. We are going to come under budget, which is great. I did want to add to that, another fact is that a lot of people don't realize we have a really strong contingency for both schools at 10%. So we can do things that aren't part of bond, but we recognize out there or existing conditions. For instance, being at Pembroke, we're adding a removable mullion so you can get things into a building without having to take part of the building apart. That happens more so now than ever before. So that's a plus that we have this money available in contingency. Again, under budget, we had 40 bidders, which is a great number. And Scott will talk more about that. But we're looking forward to doing the finishing work over at Beachview and Pembroke. Not a huge scope, but we did a lot last time in the bond. This time it's more mechanical, sort of the non-glamorous stuff, but still needs to be done. So that's a plus, and we're doing a lot of outside site work. At every school that we go to, we're doing landscaping, which wasn't thought of when we started the bond work, but every school we finish now, we do some landscaping so the building looks nice on the outside, and that attracts new students, and parents love it. So with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Scott Smith from Plant Brand, who can tell you more about the bid process.
Thank you.
Thank you, John, and good evening. I'm going to be brief and let Aaron share most of the details, but as John said, we're another bid pack. We're about 2% under budget here. With this award here tonight, that puts us at right around $20 million for this year's work, dating back to September with bid pack 16. And I did some quick math and it's probably slightly inaccurate, but I'm pretty sure we're right around $50,000 over budget on $20 million worth of work. So just a huge testament to all that have been involved here. A little bit that is a little bit of blind luck with some of that, but to be that close to budget on 20 million, and then collectively over this first 3 years of this bond, we're actually under budget overall as well. So just a huge testament to the team, the efforts of everybody to stay on task and work through the economic conditions we're dealt with. We're just happy to be in this position. So with that, I'll share the mic with Aaron. He can go over some of the specifics.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
I will pull, may need some help. It's in where? On the folder. There we go. All right. Here's our screen. So, great bidding, November the 1st. We had a great bid opening. We had 40 bidders total, which averages just a hair over 3 bids per category, which is awesome, especially in this bidding climate, as Scott alluded to. Bids range from about 2.9 million to 3.9 million. Looking at the project holistically, we were approximately $56,000 under budget on this specific bid package, which again, as Scott alluded to, is a huge, huge win for the district. We're very, very pleased with those results. And as Scott alluded to, or excuse me, John alluded to earlier, that most of the work associated with Beachview and Kembrook are associated with HVAC upgrades, electrical upgrades, some life safety, and some exterior improvements, playgrounds, etc. So again, a lighter scope of work this round. Beachview and Kembrook both had a pretty extensive renovation work in the 2015 bond. So this rounds out the bulk of the work at both of these schools. So we're excited to get started. Letters of intent will go out tomorrow, pending a board approval tonight, and materials procured, which are certainly not getting any better from a procurement standpoint, but this allows the contract team to get started on that procurement and have materials in time for the summer and for those renovations. So having said that, any questions?
I think so. Thank you. Good.
Thank you.
We had a good finance meeting. I don't have any questions.
We ask a lot of questions at the meeting.
At the finance.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have the new textbook adoptions review.
And we have Mrs. Margaret Hendrickson, our Director of the CIA Curriculum, Instruction, and Assessment.
Wait, don't make me laugh. I've got to find my PowerPoint. Good evening, Board of Education. I'm excited to be here with you. Let me hit present. Remind me where the present, oh, there it is. There it is. Not used to PowerPoint. I use Google Slides, just saying. Welcome, Board of Education. As we've launched into this school year, we have been taking a look at our resources, K-12 in different subject areas, and we are back here again to have you consider a few textbook adoptions. As tonight we'll look at another AP course, a textbook adoption for macroeconomics and microeconomics, as well as business law in our career technical education program. Christy Fightfield, due to family commitments tonight, was not able to attend, but she worked alongside our high school social studies teachers around the macro and microeconomics in thinking about what textbooks they might need. So once we start getting into the AP classes, I don't necessarily have up-to-date content knowledge myself, because as I look at these textbooks, they are college textbooks. So as we think about AP macroeconomics versus micro, we have a large number of students that take AP macro, and that's really looking at the economic system as a whole, whereas AP microeconomics is really looking at individual economic decision making. And so they have found a text in order to stay in line with College Board. College Boards does require copyright states about every 10 years need to be updated. Also, the economics curriculum as defined by the College Board has made some shifts in terms of subjects to be covered in the course. And so in order to update our Farmington curriculum to that, they felt it necessary to look at a new text. And so the text that will come around to you, if Kathy Staring can pass the econ one around. What you'll notice is the text that's coming around will be used for both macro and microeconomics. So it's 2 courses, 1 text. When we started doing some review last year, they looked at the textbook that's actually being passed across the board. What we did note and heard from the publishers, they were coming out with a newer edition with a few more added alignment to the shifts that had been made in the College Board curriculum. So those right now have yet to come in terms of the preview copies, but they're pretty much this with some added content. So we're just waiting on the back order to get our in-person hard copy. So once that comes in, we will make sure that that's available in the Board of Education, the central office where we keep materials for people to preview. But they've been looking at, the teachers have been looking at this particular text for quite a while. As you might know, is that the College Board really puts out, here's a set of 6 to 8 to 10 texts that they confirm are aligned. And so what we really do is review those and feel like which fits us the best. And this is the text that they've chosen. Okay. There is an online component as well as the hard copy component.
Okay. Any questions?
And I didn't ask this at the meeting because I just thought of it now, but is this a full year course? And are we looking at the textbook for this year because we're halfway
We will,
through?
yeah, so those I believe are each a semester course.
Semester.
And so we will actually purchase this and we'll be able to use it for this school year.
Okay.
Which is one reason why we're bringing it at this time as the semester shifts after the winter break.
So the students that took it the fall semester have the old textbook, but the students that are taking it the winter semester will have the new textbook. And I think I just remember when my kids were in school, if they had a fall semester AP class, then they offered review sections before the AP exams in the spring.
All AP teachers do an amazing job scheduling opportunities for kids to review as they move up to the AP testing that occurs in the spring. So they actually did a lot during COVID and they found a way. And so yes, the AP teachers do a lot to make sure that students have opportunities to revisit content before the AP.
So then the students in the fall semester will have access to the updated resources before
They
take
won't
the
have access to the updated resources, but we do know that our teachers have done a really good job, even though we didn't have the updated resources, supplementing those materials to be aligned. Now it's in one text. So I'm not concerned at this point. I'm happy to bring that up and raise that to the teachers just to verify.
No, I just meant probably the way you explained it, that they have access to the teachers that have the access to the updated resources. So, yeah, I mean, it's all about that. So, okay, thank you for clarifying that.
You're welcome.
Question maybe for another day and time, but what's the percentage of our student population that are enrolled in our AP
I
programs?
knew you were going to ask that when you said that. So we actually have, I was trying to revisit, I know I looked at the beginning of the year, I mean, we have about 25 AP courses. I'd have to go revisit the numbers of unique students versus the number of students that actually take more than one AP at a time.
Sure.
So we're happy to provide some updated data on our AP enrollment and scoring.
Maybe we could get that for the retreat? Sure. If that's enough time? Okay.
So then, are we buying enough textbooks for every student to have their own copy of the textbook? Or do they have to choose between online or hard copy?
So we always make sure there's enough online for everybody. And depending on the teachers and how they kind of structure their class. Sometimes we are only buying a class set, or we might buying it one-to-one. It depends on the structure of the course. And so in this case, I believe we're pretty much one-to-one, because I believe for this quote, we have the equal number of hard copy as well as online. We're finding a lot of students don't take the hard copy text anymore because they're so used to working digitally from wherever they are, particularly our athletes. Instead of carrying books to competition, they're bringing their phones and their devices to get on. But we always make sure that we have enough hard copy for students that need them. And if there's someone that wants to take it home and it's in the classroom, we make sure that we honor any 504 accommodations, IEP accommodations to make sure kids have what they need. And some prefer the online version because of the text reader type tools that are available. And so we make sure that we're supporting each and every.
Then the license for the online, is that something that, because once you buy the textbook, you have it, and so how long is the license for the
So
online?
any
and how often do you have
text
to read
is 3, 5 to 6 years. Different textbook companies do that different lengths of time. And so what we do is we budget for each year. We take a look at, we have a list of all of our subscriptions, when they are going to come up for renewals in terms of the online subscriptions, and we build that into our budget. It's a very new way of working we didn't have to do 20 years ago.
Yeah, I know, it just, technology changes everything, and that's probably one of the good ways, to give
Yes.
options to the students and stuff. And you did a really nice job at the meeting explaining how you budget and things like that, so we found that really helpful.
Thank you, appreciate that. CTE, earlier you approved a book that is within the same program around business. We also offer business law as part of that pathway or course sequence. Business law, again, we're getting into stuff that I could tell you about AP biology, but I can't tell you much about business law. Although when I opened this book, I noticed it says here in the course description, fundamental principles of business law. There's nothing fundamental about it. It's very sophisticated, very complex. When you preview through the text, it's pretty amazing, the density of work that kids are doing around business ethics, civil law procedures, and similar to the comparative book that you looked at last time for comparative government, it's very case-based, so you have your background content knowledge, but then there's a lot of case bases in this particular text to help with analysis and application of learning. Just like any other, just like College Board, CTE recommends a cadence of renewal on resources to keep up with the curriculum, and hence the desire to bring this text forward. When this text was being looked at for the business law, there's actually a newer edition, but the newer edition is a more college level text. This edition is what's being recommended for high school students. There was an update in the PowerPoint that I don't think got into this version, and it has the title was incorrect on the slide. So it's Business Law Essentials. That too has an online component. We specifically wanted to look at that online component because as you look at the text, it's very dense and rich. It's kind of like a law book, right? And so there's a lot of nice tools in terms of it shifts some of the layout of the content online to support our learners. Yes?
You did a nice job explaining at the committee meeting as far as the people that are involved in the process for selecting the textbook, and maybe to share that, just if there's any parents or community members that are interested in hearing that. I think it's important to share.
We need to go to experts when we're looking at any set of instructional materials, and so we really start at the teachers. Teachers know the curriculum, they know the instructional approaches, they know what the students' needs are, and so all of these textbook adoptions you'll see, from something that's an AP text to a full district adoption for foundational skills, for example, K2, is really coming out of work of teachers. The coordinators are there, the teacher leader coordinators that work with me are there to help guide and support that process, provide rubrics and guiding principles to help us in those selections. But we start there. as I say, I don't know business law, so I can't make that decision, but I can hear from the experts to make recommendations to us. So it's our CTE teachers that are making these recommendations and the AP teachers that are making the recommendations. And we ask the questions to get them thinking and to just let us understand and why this textbook is the right text for them.
Yeah, so it's a combination of the people using the materials, looking at them and selecting them, but the curriculum department also guiding them to make sure that all the standards are being met and everything's aligned with the curriculum. So it's a real nice example of the collaborative experience and the work that we do in our district. So thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. Thank you for raising it.
Any other questions? Okay.
So we will make both of these texts available at central office by the curriculum instruction office.
Awesome. So if any of our community members would like to take a look at the books, they'll be at central office. And board members also. All right. We are ready for public comment. If anyone wishes to make some comments tonight during this portion of the meeting, the cards are at the table over by that side of the room. Fill out the card and just put it in the ceramic container by Mrs. Sharon. We'd like to remind you that we have some board agreements here that we would also like you to abide by. In particular, respect people and ideas, presume positive intent, listen to learn, not to defend. And if you have something of a critical nature to say about a particular individual, we appreciate you not using individuals' names. All right. Mr. Bill Lovaway. Good evening.
Good evening. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. You too.
What I'd like to talk about today is what are you doing to improve the achievement of students not proficient in math and literature? And again, you have to be doing more than I know about, but I don't think this board does any kind of a job of communicating that to the community. So, and I wish I had seen as much board enthusiasm about improving student achievement as you have shown about capital spending and bonds in the last several meetings. However, I handed out an analysis of students not proficient in literary and math over the 2018 and 19 and the 2020-21 school years. This is the most recent Michigan school data available on the district's website. To summarize, and this is in the handout, because of the COVID lockdowns, the number of students tested dropped by about 1/3 from 18-19 to 2021. So I will speak of the earlier school year results as being more representative. 1,124 students were not proficient in literacy, and we estimate that it will cost about $3,500 a head to improve it. 1,283 students were not proficient in math. This is all summarized in like the last paragraph of the handout. So the question is, how much is this going to cost? The investment that I estimate to get the money to work on improving proficiency is about $8,400,000. And where will the district get the money to work on improving efficiency or proficiency? The answer is that they already got $21 million from the government to prevent students from falling behind during the pandemic. This money is parked away in the fund balance, as it's shown on the bottom of the spreadsheet. So my question is, what are we doing? I'd like to know. And the second area I wanted to talk about is a carryover, my carryover, on ESSER receipts and uses. And I've spent some time analyzing how much we spent on at least about $8 million of the ESSER money. And I had some questions on it. What do we do with it? Well, I kind of answered that, except that it's not an adequate answer. You published at least a part in spring of '22 in your newsletter. It's a narrative description of where you spent the money. That has nothing to do with why you spent it and what you expect to accomplish. And so I'd like you to follow up on that. What do you expect the payback to be? You talk about measuring in your goals. Well, it's useless to measure if you haven't set a goal. Where are we getting, how are we getting? Does that mean I'm
12 seconds.
Oh, I'll take that back. So I'd like to know what the results are from what we spent to date. And my last question was silly. Will we see the results before the election? I knew we weren't going to get that, and we didn't get it.
Thank you. Danielle Ware?
Good evening, everyone. I wanted to share with you, because I think that the only thing you really know about me is that I'm a parent, a community member, and I am the president and CEO. But what you may not know is I am also the executive director of Danica Community Development Incorporated, affectionately known as DCDI. And here in the Farmington Hills area, we provide resources to the community, to our families, to our students. We do financial education, we do college planning, we do a Black men's support group called The Well, and we do resume writing and interviewing. And many of our families here in Farmington Hills take advantage of these resources. But why I'm here today is to share with you very quickly that DCDI also offers a teacher's grant. It is called Amber's Gift. And Amber's Gift is a $500 teacher grant that is given every year. Started actually this year, and it is a set of 4 that are given to teachers who show a no-quit spirit in giving the students, meeting the students where they are, and getting them where they need to go. And the inspiration for this teacher's grant, Amber's Gift, is Antoinette Arkenberg. Your math teacher here at Warner Middle School, not here, but there at Warner Middle School, and she actually was one of the very first recipients this year on October 30th at our annual masquerade ball to receive one of the grants. So I just want you to know you have some great teachers here that do a lot of wonderful work, and they don't always get the recognition, but Ms. Arkenberg, who has been in this district for quite a long time and is the inspiration because of how she meets each student where they are and takes them where they need to go. Just when you see her, say congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Eugene Greenstein?
Good evening, everybody. I'm sort of a broken record, and Bill does the numbers and I do the philosophy. The most important thing we can do for our kids is to make sure that they are literate. The prisons are loaded with people who can't read. Genesee County Sheriff has a major reading initiative to break the prison and back cycle. Farmington speaks to its Lifelong Learner initiative. Lifelong learning depends on being literate. It also depends on providing an accurate understanding of American and world history in addition to math and science. As educated Americans, we recognize that we are far from perfect, but at the same time are much better than other nations, as can be seen by the people flocking to our shores. If one studies the Bible, we can learn that people are imperfect, but imperfect people can become great, and the wisdom of the Bible applies today, just as it applied 3,000 years ago. Farmington schools have to turn out proud Americans who respect all people. If our children are going to become successful adults and parents, they have to be able to succeed in society. You have to have self-esteem, pride, and confidence in themselves. They need to behave with grace, honor, and dignity, and believe that they are worthy of being treated well. They need to grow up succeeding in school and in society, which comes with basic academic and workplace achievement. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "If it falls your lot to be a street sweeper, sweep streets like Michelangelo painted pictures. Sweep streets like Beethoven composed music. Sweep streets like Leontine Price," I apologize for the pronunciation, "sings before the Metropolitan Opera. Sweep streets so well that all the hosts of heaven and earth will have to pause and say, 'Here lived a great street sweeper who swept his job well.'" We want our kids to achieve more than a street sweeper. However, whatever their lot in life, they should be proud that they do their job well with dignity and self-esteem. What are we going to do to ensure that every 12th grader who leaves Farmington Public Schools can read at grade level, effective this June? It's a crime against humanity if they can't read. What are the constraints that are preventing this from happening? What are we doing to bust those constraints? As school board members, student literacy is your job, as the schools report to you, and you signed up. I saw no objective in the 2022 board goals to fix FPS's abysmal reading and math performance. How will our students become adults having dignity and self-esteem if they can't read? And it's not even one of your clear objectives. Thank you. And have a happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
You too, sir. Next, we have Tia Marie Sanders.
I don't know if I can say everything I want to say in that fast a time. So just, I'm going to keep looking up at the thing, so just hold it up for me. Okay. Go. All right. So my name is Tia Marie Sanders. I'm actually from Novi. I'm the president of our African American Family Network, and I fully support FAAPN, the Farmington African American Family Network, and I'm also the president of the Oakland County African American Family Network and chair of the Michigan End Racial Trauma Task Force. I just wanted to bring something to your attention that I shared with some of the board members when they were campaigning, which is we are looking for people to support us in getting our database together so that we can start tracking racial trauma in the school districts as well as in our communities. So I heard everybody talking earlier about how we have to be really mindful of that. Next week is the anniversary of the terrible tragedy in Oxford, but actually our students, particularly Black students, experience at a rate of 60% racial trauma on a daily basis. And while the schools shooting is maybe less than 5% of what their experience might be. Racial trauma is happening to them every day, so we want to work with the school district to come up with ways in which to not only support our kids and our families around racial trauma, but to also make our teachers trauma informed. Where's that at? I got 1 minute, okay. All right, the other thing that I wanted to say is that Kelly Breen, which is our state rep for this area, has a school safety task force that goes beyond a bucket in a classroom. I think that's a great start, but it is by far, and I think you mentioned it, Ms. Fox, about what are we doing for doors that are bulletproof doors and glass that is bulletproof glass. That definitely, hopefully, will be on here. And then the other thing I would like to say is that FAAPN, all of you mentioned the amazing and really honorable work that FAAPN has done, but FAAPN also needs advocates like you who are in spaces. They should not be looking for a space. They should know today what their new space is going to be to accommodate not only their current needs, but their busting at the seam needs and their future needs. They also need financial assistance. It is very honorable to, take advantage of the fact that people are there every single week, but they are also taking away from their own families. And it's not a good investment to continue to let them struggle along without a financial investment. So I'm hoping that that is something that the school also thinks about. And for the young lady, this wasn't even on my list, why can't the school kitchen provide pizza by working with one of the carriers to actually come into the school and teach and learn and actually make pizza right in the school with the whole week? That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Mr. Thomas Hull.
Good evening. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. The purpose for my comment would be for actually two things. The DEI, I've want to congratulate that you guys are still putting together a good plan for the DEI investment, and that the candidates who got reelected, congratulate to all of you guys for the re-election, winning the re-election, and that they go forward with the work instead of just everybody seem like they're gelling together well, and that they're on the same path. The DEI is so important for everyone, okay? This is, I spoke about before, this is just not a one thing fits all, because everybody has their own challenges and everything that they need. It's, people try, this outside noise about different races and, well, everybody should be treated the same, same color, same gender, same everything, and that's just not the case. The reason that most of all the immigrants that came over to this country, because we really, besides the African Americans and the people who brought the African Americans over for the enslavement, were actually running from a different system anyway to make their own life, because they were being treated over in that area. So for the new immigrants to come over that may be only 3 or 4 generations deep, to actually have that saying, well, what we made it, so should you, but you pretty much was leaving a different country because you was not treated well. So to have that empathy for the people who are, I would say, in a situation that you were at one point at, you should be able to just have that empathy for us and for the African American, especially for the African American people who actually was in this country, and that you can see over and over that struggling in different avenues of different, all facets of life. With that, my remaining time is the Pygmalion effect. And the Pygmalion effect is basically you just coming into an area, you're expecting an outcome because that's how you're coming into an outcome, either how you treat people or not treat people. We all need to start treating people like they're worth something, and that is very, very viable to a good investment to get into. And with that, we can do it if we just open our minds up.
Thank you, sir. Are there any other public comments? Oh, okay.
Need to grab the mic, or can I just speak? So I can applaud the school board for addressing school safety, especially as it relates to the inside of the school, but I'm also concerned about what the plan is for children, especially like children, school-aged young children like my son at Lanigan, where the school playground I would consider to be a soft target. Well, I can understand that there are lunch aides out there, what barriers and what protocols are in place, because as we know, danger cannot just happen inside of the school. What is the plan? Should someone approach the playground? And I think that's the only thing I did not hear when they talked about what the plans were. There was nothing that spoke to school safety as it relates to the playground. As we know, there may be 100 to 200 kids out on the playground at once with maybe 4 to 5 lunch aides. We know that that's not a reasonable plan to be able to keep children safe. So I will ask that the board also consider what the safety looks like as it relates to playgrounds.
Thank you. That was April Brooks. Thank you.
Sorry.
It's okay. Any other public comment?
That's good.
Seeing no further public comment is closed, and we will move forward. On to action items. Our first action item is Bid Pack 9. Yes, Heinrich.
Yes, this was presented earlier in discussion. This is for Beachville Elementary School and Kenbrook Elementary School renovations. I move that the Board of Education award bid pack number 9 for Beachview Elementary School and Kenbrook Elementary School renovations as outlined in the November 22nd, 2022 letters from Plant Moran Cressa and McCarthy Smith in the amount of $3,279,317, funds to come from the Capital Projects Building and Site 2020 Fund.
Support.
Motion by Mrs. Heinrich, supported by Mr. Walker. We need to do a roll call vote, right, Mr. Rich?
Mr. Rich.
Yes.
Ms. Fox.
Yes.
Ms. Heinrich.
Yes.
Ms. Williams.
Yes.
I myself, yes, and Dr. Blau.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Motion passes. Thank you, Mrs. Heinrich and Mr. Walker. Next, we have the acceptance of the final audit report.
Okay.
Ms. Fox.
I move that the Board of Education accept the district's comprehensive annual financial report dated June 30th, 2022, and the accompanying report to the board and the federal awards supplement information.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Fox, seconded by Ms. Weems. I think we can just do an all in favor, yes? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, motion passes. Thank you. And finally, the recommendation for approval of the 2022-23 revised tax levy. Yes, Ms. Weems.
I move that the Board of Education approve the amended Form L4029 tax rate request for all properties, which results in an 8.9067 mills on homesteads and industrial personal property, 21.2 mills on non-homesteads, and 14.9067 mills on commercial personal property.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Weems, supported by Mr. Rich. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. All righty. Items from the treasurer.
Yes, I move that the Board of Education approve the expenditures as outlined in the expenditure printout dated November 22, 2022 as follows. General Fund, $9,596,810. General Fund Athletics, $178,134. Debt Fund, 0. Capital Projects, Technology and Other Projects, 0. Capital Projects 2018 Bond Fund, $11,890. Capital Projects 2020 Bond Fund, $2,304,551. Nutrition Services Fund, $333,196. Benefits Stabilization Fund, $1,334,710. Total, $13,759,291.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Heinrich, seconded by Ms. Weems. We need a roll call vote for this, Mr. Walker? No? No? Okay. All right, then all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? All right, motion passes. Can you explain to me after the meeting why we don't need a roll call?
We actually don't need to do that at all.
We don't? All right. Okay, moving on to the consent agenda. Ms. Weems?
I move that we approve the consent agenda, which includes the approval of minutes from the September 20th, 2022 regular meeting amended, and the October 25th, 2022 regular meeting, the Head Start Director's monthly report, and personnel items.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Weems, supported by Mr. Rich. All in favor?
Aye.
Any objections? Abstentions? Seeing none, motion passes. Reports from board representatives. Mrs. Heinrich?
Yes, I had the opportunity to attend the student roundtable on Tuesday, November 15th. It was here at the Maxfield Center, and the students had a group brainstorming on their focus project, and they came up with they want to have a college career exploration date. And one of the things that I was impressed with is not only do the students come to this meeting, but the principals come with them also. And so the principals hear what the students are saying. And Dr. Delgado actually took the time when the students were getting their lunch to sit down with the principals and say, okay, this is what the kids want, and how can we support them, and talked about different options and things. And so it was really good to see all that collaboration and the support that they're given. So I'm really excited because they wanted to have a career and college day, and they also were interested in financial literacy also. And they were talking about maybe how to utilize the days where the juniors are pulled out for MME testing to have those meaningful days for the students, not to take away from any of the instructional time. The students talked about their mental health issues going on in the schools and just the different things. And, you know, this is a really big thing because these kids said, you know, we don't feel safe at school. You know, we hear about school shootings. The anniversary of Oxford is coming up. They have bomb threats. There was graffiti in the bathrooms that they had to deal with, the photo incident at North Farmington School. And I know as a teacher, you know, it's like people say, focus on academics, don't worry about all these things. But when students are stressed and they're not present emotionally, then the teachers really have a hard time helping the students to learn. And so it's this whole child approach and supporting the whole community and the mental health of that. So that's why it's important, so that the teachers can do their jobs. And, you know, and we want to improve the literacy. We want to improve the math scores. But in order to do that, the kids have to be present, and they have to be there and able to learn. Because if a kid isn't, if they're physically present in the classroom and not emotionally present, you can have the best teacher in the world, they're just not going to get through to the kids. And I know that from my own personal experience. I mean, I've had students in my classes that, you know, have been dealing with trauma and things, and the counselors would come and they'd say, you know, this kid has a lot of things, and it's like, how can I help this student if they're not here? And you know, so they have to be present. So we're doing what they said. So, you know, and we asked the kids, what do you need to feel safe at school? And the common theme is that they need someone to talk to. They need a trusted adult, or they need a safe space with their peers. And another nice thing that happened at the meeting is Dr. Delgado took the time to explain to the students the process that they go through and the district goes through for expulsion hearings and when students are identified to doing these things. And so I thought that was really helpful to share that. That was it for the student roundtable.
Thank you. Ms. Heinrich, it sounds like the students keep bringing to our attention the stress that they are experiencing and their need for more support around some of these, the stress and anxiety they experience just as a result of what's going on in our world. And so I'm glad that we are listening and trying to provide those services for them. Thank you. Okay, let's see, any other board representatives? Yes.
Yes, I also am the representative for the Oakland County School Board Association, and on Wednesday, November 16th, we had a joint meeting with the superintendents at Cranbrook Science Institute. And it was a really nice event. There was a presentation from Oakland schools as far as what they do for our district, and shared services were presented by Dr. Wanda Cook-Robinson and Dwight Levins. And that information was sent in the minutes and all of the handouts. There was a presentation, you know, and we just talked about, the kids talked about mental health. Well, there was a wonderful presentation by Dr. Amber Zarb about mental health, addressing the mental health crisis. And so we have all the resources that were shared, were sent out. And I just wanted to point out, they had a focus on supporting the whole child, and they went through this and all these individual things, and I'd be happy, I don't want to, it's 8:50 right now, and so, don't want to do the whole presentation. But this handout that they had, the national data statistics and data slides, it's really worth looking at. And on the back of it, technology is great because it's got these little QR codes, and so you can click on those and it takes you to the resources. And so to make sure, our fellow board members take time to look at those resources. So that was really a nice thing. And then the director of the head of the visitor experience raffled off some prizes, didn't win anything. Terry Williams wasn't there, otherwise she would have walked away with all the prizes. But then we got to see Sue, the T-Rex experience, a special exhibit, which was really amazing. And actually, the kids had a half day Friday, and I took my grandkids back to Cranbrook Institute of Science. And so shout out to that wonderful experience. And, if you get time with your families to visit over the holidays, to take time to do that, it's really worthwhile. So that was great. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Mrs. Heinrich. Any other board representative reports? Okay, then let's move on. Recommendations for future agenda items. I know that it's coming up. It's in one of our upcoming agendas because it's one of our board goals to regularly hear back from Dr. Delgado and your team around what is happening with math and reading literacy. So it is a board goal that we've been working on since the beginning of this school year, and we will be having regular reports both at our retreats and to the board and the community on the status of those initiatives and their success rates. Anything else? Okay. Moving on, good and welfare. Yes.
I have a lot, but I'm going to try to be brief. I'm going to try to do this in 2 minutes. Okay, so a lot has happened since we last met. It's been a month. First, there was Halloween. I hope everybody enjoyed that. Had the opportunity to help out at Warner for an event and also do a Wood Creek trunk or treat. On a sad note, I did want to acknowledge a person who was in our district who passed away, a beautiful young person whose name was Princess Madison Smith. She was a 12-year-old student who attended Farmington Public Schools, and I just wanted to acknowledge her and her family. The East Middle School Choir performed beautifully during the service, and Madison's family shared the most touching stories of Madison and her interactions with Farmington Public Schools staff and students. Staff members were present, her principals were present, members of the Board of Education were present, students were there, and Madison's bus driver was there. She drove the choir to the funeral and back. Just a great example of a real school community, a terrible loss for the family and for Farmington Public Schools, but a beautiful ceremony. I also had the honor of attending a service for Senator Vincent Gregory, who was the father of one of our staff members. He was a great public servant who I admire and look to pattern my service after, truly a selfless man. Most of us recently had the opportunity to visit Hillside Elementary to take a look at some of the bond improvements that were done there. I was most pleased to see that the pathway that was created outside now allows students with mobility challenges to access the recess areas outside. That was really great. North Farmington class of 2024 President Jaden Thomas organized an exceptional surprise tribute and celebration for Ms. Tanya Corbett, the new principal of Lanigan. Students, parents, board members, members of administration, the superintendent, and friends of Ms. Corbett were all in attendance and watched the band play and the step team perform. It was an awesome day to be a Raider. I'm sure Ms. Corbett felt the love that packed that gymnasium and how wonderful it was that students took it upon themselves to do that for her. Also attended the Toast to Education along with other board members, which was a great event. This year was a record year for myself and Rainbow Johnson. It was really nice. All of those prizes actually get redonated. They'll get put to good use. All of it gets paid forward. I really, truly enjoy that event. Attended Powers Partner Celebration this week and got great appreciation for all of the partnerships our school communities enjoy. It always makes me proud to be a part of the community when I hear about all of our community members and community-based organizations that support our schools. Our community came out strongly, demonstrating their desire for our Board of Education to continue to do the work that we're doing, which I was really pleased for myself and for my colleagues, that we were all elected and re-elected. That means that we can move forward without missing a beat, which was going to be huge for our district. I'm excited that we get to continue this work, and I want to say thank you to those who voted and who supported. I also want to acknowledge, though, that there are many thousands of people who may be in disagreement, and I hope that candidates who ran and people that support them continue to stay engaged. I want to be clear that personally, and I believe I speak for many of my colleagues as well, we do not simply represent people who support us or that share our same perspectives, values, and beliefs. We are here to support our entire school community, both those that we agree with and those that we do not. And I think that we've been demonstrating that by being very open and transparent and engaging in conversations and actively listening, all of that stuff. And I am personally committed to continuing to do that. I appreciate different perspectives within our community and even on this board, and look forward to maintaining professionalism, openness, transparency, communications, and decorum. And my last point on community is related to Thanksgiving. Attended the ESL celebration this morning along with some other board members. Always a great event. I leave with a tremendous sense of admiration for people who come to this country and learn English. I appreciate the presentations and love that we welcome so many cultures into our community. And this is the first year I noticed so many adult learners from Ukraine, which was also beautiful. My family is in the process of completing our annual Thanksgiving project. This year we collected enough donations to feed over 40 families. Almost half of those live in Farmington or Farmington Hills. Thank you to community members, staff, and even some of our board members who helped with the contribution, worked over the weekend to inventory, decorate, and pack boxes, or who were working today, tomorrow, or Thursday to deliver food. 10 of the 40 families are receiving a full catered Thanksgiving meal because they do not have appliances or cookware to even cook a meal. Over 30 families are going to receive a full set of groceries with turkey and all the trimmings, bread, milk, butter, everything that you might need to cook a Thanksgiving dinner. We have a lot more work to do, but we're grateful for the outpouring of volunteers and donations. I especially want to thank Mrs. Hattie Lagan and Ms. Coleman, who lead our community supports, including those experiencing homelessness and those who are in foster care, who are the recipients of at least half of these Thanksgiving donations. So thank you to those. I appreciate everything you do for our families. And the gift giving season is my favorite time of year. I hope that you reflect on this week and all that you're grateful for, and that you enjoy the holiday. Try. 2 minutes? Okay. Thanks. I was trying.
Mr. Rich and then Mrs. Heinrich.
So I think I missed 2 or 3 of the events that Ms. Weems went to, but I echo all the things that she was saying. This is a great time to be in our district and in our community. We have so many events going on. We have so many things to celebrate. And one of the cool things about our ESL adult Thanksgiving celebration that happened today is I saw 19 different countries represented by our ESL students. And that's just incredible to see. You get to really start to understand the services that our district provides isn't just pre-K through 12. We also have ongoing adult education. We have ESL. We provide these services in our community and the surrounding community for people who see what we have to offer as a district. And then before, my last thing for good and welfare is just a wholehearted congratulations to Kyra Harris Bolden, who today was named by Governor Gretchen Whitmer to be filling Justice McCormick's seat on the Michigan Supreme Court. So she will be the first Black woman to sit on the Michigan Supreme Court. I've known Kyra for many years now, and she's going to be an incredible person to have on the bench, a great advocate for people. And, as just seeing the amount of effort that she put into her run. I just know the amount of effort that she will put into this role as well.
Thank you, Mr. Rich. Mrs. Heinrich?
I have a visual aid for mine.
Okay. Ooh, this is a surprise. I like surprises.
Where's the mouse?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, no, yeah,
All
right.
Okay. There's the next
No, not
slide.
good surprise.
Okay. All right, thank you. I just, in honor of Veterans Day, I want to thank the veterans for their service, and so I thought this would be appropriate. The Farmington High School class of 1941 established the Burkowski-Kuhlman Award as a memorial to their classmates, George Burkowski and Dean Kuhlman, who died while serving in the Army Air Force in World War II. Last year in 2021, my family established the Crofton Heinrich Family Scholarship, not only to continue and honor the legacy of the class of 1941, but also my parents, who both served in World War II. My dad was in the U.S. Navy, my mom was in the Marines, and my husband's father was in the Army Air Force. And this award, or this scholarship, is awarded to the recipient of the Burkowski-Kuhlman Award in their senior year. They receive the award in their junior year, and they get it in their senior year. And the reason I'm talking about that is we had the opportunity to visit London, and on a tour of St. Paul's Cathedral, we found there's a chapel that commemorates the common sacrifice of the British and American people during the Second World War. Okay, and that was unveiled in October 26, 1958, in the presence of Richard Nixon, who was then Vice President of the United States, along with Queen Elizabeth II. And when we were looking at this, my husband said, "Oh, Farmington High School has 2 graduates that died in World War II." And this book that is on the underneath the glass case, it actually has the name of every American serviceman that died during World War II. And so they had, and a page is turned once a week, and it's just it was very moving. First of all, to see that this is St. Paul's Cathedral is just a historic thing, and there's an entire chapel behind the altar that's dedicated to the U.S. contributions in the war. And it's just very moving to see that. And they had off to the side, they had duplicate books where we could actually look up the names of that, and we can see that Burkowski is on there right, where's the mouse? So there's Burkowski right here, U.S. Army Air Force. And unfortunately, I was going through memory, and I didn't have the spelling of Kuhlman correctly, so we took a picture of the wrong name, but that is in the book also. And so I just wanted to share that with our community, and I just thought in honor of Veterans Day, it would be appropriate to share this. And it's a tribute to who we are as a district. I mean, this goes back to 1941 that this class established this, and it's a very prestigious award that's carried on in our schools. So that's the end of my story.
That's beautiful, Ms. Heinrich. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for, no, but it was great. Thank you to your family for being willing to continue to provide those scholarship funds in honor of these 2 Farmington gentlemen who lost their lives.
Yeah.
And for sharing all of this additional information with us.
We were excited and really privileged to do this, and you know, my kids and grandkids are Farmington, and so it's in our trust, so it'll keep going, so, you know.
That's wonderful. That's really wonderful. Anything else? Okay. And happy holidays, everyone. Be safe, stay warm, and our meeting is adjourned.